Hi, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 2022 new moon reading for you, the first new moon of fall. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy that we have to be mindful of during this new moon. Gemini, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. Here we have the High Priestess. Okay. So what's very interesting here is there's a moon crowning her, right? So this moon is going to be revealing a lot to us, and we can find it to be very overwhelming. The new moon is, by its nature, very introspective, very much a time where we can set our intentions, see what it is that we desire, what it is that we're looking for, and what it is that we want within our world. This can come on rather intensely during this time for us, Gemini, and we can be feeling rather raw, intensely connected, not really sure why so many things are coming at us, or why we feel so sensitive, or why everything is just so, it's not going as smoothly as we want it to. Now, this can also be because we're in Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrogrades, because we are ruled by Mercury, hit us a little bit harder. And I always find that Mercury retrogrades bring to the forefront what needs to be seen, what needs to be said. So this is going to be a time where we're astoundingly intuitive, and yet we find that intuition hard to listen to. So be kinder to yourself, be gentler to yourself, listen to your instincts, listen to what spirit and your angels are telling you. It's going to be quite valuable. And yet we're going to find it a little bit hard to take in, a little bit hard to understand at times. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. So we have the Lovers, which is us, Gemini. We're represented by the Lovers in the Major Arcana. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, so we are ruled by Mercury. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Very strong Mercury energy here during a Mercury retrograde. And we have the Two of Pentacles and the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. Okay. So it's very interesting is that in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the images of the Lovers and the images of the Devil kind of mirror each other. And so there's a sense here of what we love and what we do not want within our world, or what is trying to control us, to have us kind of go off course, are going to come forward in very real ways. And they're going to be very powerful for us because that's just the nature of it during this time. We are looking at what we love and what we desire, but we're also finding it hard to balance everything. We can find, we can find that we're a little bit more tired, that we're looking at everything we have to do and feel overwhelmed. Our escape could be, just to kind of want to close the door, kind of fall asleep, just take time for ourselves. That's going to be very important. But just note, during this time, you might feel a little bit more tired, a little bit more easily drained. Look at your responsibilities. Think, oh my gosh, how am I going to get everything done? How am I going to balance everything? We can also feel like we're balancing two parts of our personality, and that can be something that we find a little bit more intense during this time, a little bit more makes us question the way that we want to move forward. We need to take time by ourselves, and yet when we do take time by ourselves, we can feel guilty for it. So just be aware of that we're going to feel very pulled by energies around us, by things around us that are saying, oh, but it should be like this, it should be like this. And Spirit's saying, step in the now, see who it is that you are in this moment, not who it is that you want to be, not your aspirational self, who it is you are now. And then slowly and steadily work towards one goal. Work towards one thing that you want during this new moon, because you're going to get there. Absolutely, Gemini. But you're going to want to put so much on your plate all at once that it actually makes you lose sight of you. So just be very aware of this. We're crowned with the Lovers. We have the bow and arrow tattoo on her shoulder right here. And there's a sense of taking aim. There's also a sense of really looking at what we love, what we want, what we are desiring, where it is that we want to be, what it is that we're looking for. And there's a sense of calling forward something bigger, something more to us. There's also a sense of what we are passionate about really coming out. And we can find it very hard to find the time to balance those passions, or to, really pull forward where it is that we want to be, what it is that we want to achieve during this time, instead of, everybody else's expectations. This is a time where balancing things can feel very overwhelming. It can feel like, oh, well, I'm getting there. And yet we're never quite there. And then we can get really mad at ourselves. How long is it going to be until I achieve exactly what I want, or until everything aligns perfectly? And how am I going to be able to, get to where it is that I want to be, or have what it is that I desire? So just be very, very aware of that we have a tendency during this time. And that's why we're being told to be mindful of the High Priestess, to be very hard on ourselves, be very insightful too. So the things that we are saying are not things that can be easily ignored. They're things that we really do know need to be seen, and they're things that are really quite truthful and can hit home. So just be aware of that. You have to be kinder to yourself during this time, Gemini, or else it's going to be really hard to find the motivation. It's going to be really hard to say, oh, but this is where I want to be, or this is what I desire, or this is it. Because the devil energy comes forward. Now, this is Capricorn energy. So you can have a Capricorn in your life, but you can also have Capricorn in your chart. If it's in your chart, whether it be your rising, or, or your moon, or just somewhere within your chart, there's a sense here of, I need to find a way to balance this aspect of me. This, Capricorn, it's so steady and stable and sensible. All right. And Gemini always gets called, the whimsical butterfly. Is always this person who wants to flitz and learn and discover. We can have a very hard time during this time balancing these two aspects of ourselves. The part that needs to be serious, the part that has the responsibilities, the part that can also feel like, I feel like a puppet on a string. I feel like everybody else is making my decisions for me, or I feel like I'm answering to something else that I have absolutely no control over. And then the part of ourselves that just wants to go what we love, go what we desire. We've also kind of put ourselves in a little bit of a boxed ourselves in a bit of a corner. We need to look at, where are we being too harsh on ourselves? What are we looking at? Where is the chaos? Where is the discord coming from? Because we'll be able to see it during this time with openness and honesty. And if we see it, if we can say, oh, that's where I'm not feeling comfortable, or, oh, this is what I have to look like, or look at, or look like. There's almost a sense of, I have to present myself in this certain way. And Spirit's saying here, stop listening to everybody else. Start listening to you. Because this is going to be a time for us to turn inward. The introspection of the new moon is just absolutely beautiful. If you could sit outside under the new moon, if you can, just kind of have a cup of tea and take it in, this is going to be a time for us where we really start seeing what we want and what we desire, and where it is that we want to be, and what it is that we're looking for. And we start to connect with us more. We start to see ourselves more. We start to understand ourselves more. There is a sense here of quiet being very important. And yet we can also find that we war a bit with this quiet, because, again, we're just brutally honest with ourselves during this time. We have a way of seeing things and saying things that is much more forthright, much more, determined, much more, you will get it right now, a lot more militaristic than we want it to be. We have to find a way to balance it. We have to find a way to balance ourselves, because this is going to be a time where we want one extreme or another. And if we can start to relax, if we can start to focus on our breath, if we can start to say, I'm embracing my calm, I'm embracing who it is that I am, I'm embracing joy, and I'm embracing peace, we can start to change our world and really find ourselves moving in the direction that we want. We have 3 major arcana cards here out of the 4. Even with the court to be mindful of, it is a major arcana card. So now that's 4 major arcana cards. This is a time period where we're forced to see certain things. We can't, sidestep, or we can't, ignore it. We're going to be forced to see it. And we're going to be forced to look at ourselves and have ourselves crown our lives. And whether that's uncomfortable for us or not, it is going to be something that we need to do. We need to start crowning our lives. We need to put that crown on our heads and say, I am ruling my existence and I am moving myself forward. And it doesn't matter what anybody else wants from me. It doesn't matter, how overwhelmed I might feel at this moment. By taking control of my life and by stepping into my life and saying, this is mine. It is the greatest gift and sometimes the greatest burden, but it is mine and I am going to live it the way that I need to. That becomes extraordinary. Now let's see what the moon has to say for us during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels, and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels, and spirit guides, angels. Yeah. So it's interesting, as we have the love come forward, as we have ourselves come forward, it says a fiery climax is approaching. And that's exactly what's happening here. As we're stepping into our role of being ourselves, as we're being empowered, as we're looking at things differently, as we're opening up these doors, things are really changing in quite a profound way. And we're seeing ourselves embrace our fire, embrace our passion, embrace our determination. It's interesting that the moon is saying that the devil nourishes us. The sense of this is the way it has to be, or a connection with the earth, because there are those who say the devil rules the earthly plane, right? And to embrace the godly plane is to kind of, overcome all the chaos of this earthly plane. And so here, there is a sense of embracing the nourishment, embracing what we're seeing, how we feel trapped or overwhelmed, and looking at it and not saying, oh, well, I'm just here to sit in this box, but saying, oh, okay, this is what's making me unhappy. This is what's making me chaotic. This is what's holding me back. And I'm not going to be living here anymore. I'm not going to be doing this, being in this, it doesn't mean a physical space. Like, I'm not going to be living in this town or this house anymore. It means I'm not going to be embracing this mind space. I'm not going to be embracing this way of being. And now I'm starting to nourish myself. Now I'm starting to move me forward towards what I really desire. And that has us blossoming as we're looking at what we have to juggle, what it is, even in the spiritual realm, that's calling us forward, that's saying to us, okay, you need to pay attention to this, or you need to look at this, or you need to understand this. And all of a sudden, we're starting to see things in a very different way than we had seen them before. We're starting to see what we're balancing, but we're also starting to see who we are. We're starting to call on our strength. We're starting to see what we desire. We're starting to see that we are more than we had imagined. And that's something that kind of takes us by surprise. It's almost like, oh, I didn't realize I could do this, or I didn't realize I could move forward in this way. And it brings us to an acceptance as we turn inward, an acceptance of who we are and where we want to be, an acceptance of how we're moving forward, but also what we love and what we want and how this world is being built. And it has us looking at, our subconscious Luna message and our subconscious self. And there's a tremendous amount of change here. But it says, and what crowns it is, have faith in your dreams. Have faith in your dreams. Yes, the world is changing. Yes, your world is changing. Yes, what you had been looking at, or what you had thought you would want, or, the way that you thought you would move forward, that is changing. And now you're starting to see yourself embracing where you want to be, what it is that you desire, what it is that you're looking for. Have faith in your dreams. Have faith in you, Gemini. That's going to be one of the biggest challenges during this new moon, but also one of the most beneficial and powerful things you can possibly do. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the King of Wands. It's interesting that it's the full moon in Aries here that crowns us. All right, Aries is ruled by the wands in the minor arcana. And we have the King of Wands coming forward, and it's being very mindful, very mindful that we can be manipulated by other people's tempers. We can be, overwhelmed by other people. We can look at things and think, oh, how am I moving forward? Or where is it that I'm doing? Or, work can become all encompassing in our lives and we don't want it to be. So just be very mindful of this. We can also have our tempers being a little bit sharper during this time. So just be aware. Just be very, very aware during this time that passion and intensity and fire and our duality is going to come up. And we need to temper what we want. We need to temper how we're moving forward and what we're moving towards, because it brings us to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Fool. We want to move forward in freedom. We want to let go. We want to embrace change and beauty and see ourselves and what we desire and want and need. And there's a real desire here to let your hair down, to walk free, to say, yes, you might think I'm foolish, but I see myself as brave. I see myself as embracing my dreams. I see myself as moving forward towards what is extraordinary. Remember, every single person on their hero's journey, when they're breaking out of the mold, when they're moving in a direction that isn't the quote-unquote norm, people look at, mock, laugh at. They don't fully comprehend them. But when they achieve, they're extraordinary. If they fail, they go, oh, well, I knew you wouldn't do it. But at least you were brave enough to try. So many people sit in their little bubbles, in their little worlds, in their little boxes, forever wishing that they could break out of it and never being able to. So be brave during this time. You have tremendous insight. If you harness that insight, Gemini, towards what you want, instead of letting it become insight of pity or doubt or fear, you will be extraordinary. And you will see yourself moving forward in the most extraordinary, capable ways. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this new moon and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Gemini. And may you have a blessed moon.